Have you ever noticed how often your mind seems to run in different directions, almost like a wild horse that does not want to be tamed? One moment you are calm, and the next you are filled with worry, anger, or doubt. It can feel like your own thoughts are stronger than you are. But the truth is, the mind can be trained, just like a muscle. It does not happen in one day, but with small steps and clear rules, you can slowly become the master of your thoughts and emotions. Every person who has achieved something great in life has first learned to control the mind. And this is where our journey begins. The first rule is learning how to observe your thoughts instead of letting them control you. Many people believe that every thought in their head must be true. If a thought says, "You will fail," they feel defeated before even trying. If the mind whispers, "You are not good enough," they start to believe it without question. But thoughts are not always true. They are just like clouds passing through the sky. Some clouds are light and beautiful, while others are dark and heavy, but none of them stay forever. In the same way, your thoughts come and go, and you don't have to fight every single one of them. Imagine you are sitting next to a busy road, and cars are passing by. Each car is like a thought. If you run into the road and try to stop the cars, you will feel tired and hopeless. But if you sit calmly and just watch them go, you will see that they eventually pass. This is what happens when you learn to observe your thoughts. You don't argue with them, and you don't believe everything they tell you. You simply notice them and let them move on. A simple way to practice this is to spend a few minutes every day sitting quietly, focusing on your breathing and noticing the thoughts that appear. When a thought comes, just say to yourself, "This is only a thought," and bring your attention back to your breath. At first, it feels difficult because the mind loves to wander, but with practice you will begin to see the difference between you and your thoughts. This small skill can change the way you react to challenges. Instead of being pulled into worry or anger immediately, you will have a small pause, a moment of freedom, where you can choose how to respond. This ability to step back and observe is what many successful people use in their lives. Take athletes, for example. Before a big game, fear and doubt always appear. A football player might think, "What if I miss the shot?" But those who succeed are the ones who recognize the thought, see it for what it is, and do not let it control their actions. They step back, breathe, and continue with focus. That is the power of observation, the first step in controlling the mind. Now, once you begin to see your thoughts more clearly, the second rule comes into play. Focus your mind on what you can control and let go of what you cannot. Much of the stress in life comes from giving energy to things outside our control. Think about how often people get angry about the weather, about traffic, about the words of others, or about events in the past that can never be changed. The more you focus on what you cannot control, the weaker you feel, because no amount of worry or anger will change those things. Instead, imagine your energy like water in a bottle. You only have so much each day, and if you pour it out on things you cannot change, the bottle becomes empty very quickly. But if you carefully use that energy on what is in your control, your actions, your words, your choices, then your bottle lasts much longer and you feel stronger. There is a famous story about the philosopher Epictetus, who lived many centuries ago. He taught that freedom comes not from controlling the world, but from controlling your reaction to the world. If someone insulted him, he would not waste energy by getting angry. Instead, he would remind himself, "I cannot control the words of others, but I can control my response." That is why his teachings still inspire people today. They are simple, but very powerful. Think about your own life. If someone cuts in front of you in line, what happens inside your mind? Often, frustration or anger appears immediately. but you cannot control that person's action. You can only control what you do next. Do you spend the next hour replaying it in your head, or do you let it go and save your energy for something more meaningful? This choice decides whether your mind is your master or your servant. To apply this rule, try to make a clear difference in your daily thoughts. When you face a problem, ask yourself, is this in my control or not? If it is not, then remind yourself to let it go. If it is, then focus your energy on small, practical steps you can take. For example, you cannot control if it rains tomorrow, but you can prepare by taking an umbrella. You cannot control the past, but you can learn from it and make a better choice today. By practicing these two rules together, observing your thoughts and focusing only on what you can control, you begin to build real mental strength. The first gives you space between you and your thoughts, and the second directs your energy toward what truly matters. Together, they form the foundation of mastering your mind. As we continue this journey, you will see how each rule connects to the next, like stones in a path that lead to greater freedom and strength. Once you begin with these first two steps, you will already notice a difference in your daily life. Problems will still appear, because no life is free from challenge, but you will face them with a calmer and clearer mind. And this is only the beginning, for there are more lessons ahead that will show you how deep and powerful your mind can become when you learn to guide it instead of being dragged by it. When you start to see your thoughts as separate from yourself, and you begin to give energy only to what you can control, you notice that life becomes a little lighter. But the journey of mastering the mind does not end there. The next step is about training your attention, because where your attention goes, your energy follows. And this is the third rule. Learn to focus deeply on one thing at a time. In today's world, distraction is everywhere. Your phone rings, notifications flash, the television plays in the background, and suddenly your mind feels like a room filled with noise. Many people live this way every day, jumping from one thought to another, from one task to another, never fully present. But the truth is, the human mind is not built for this kind of constant switching. When you divide your attention into many pieces, you lose the strength of focus, just like a beam of sunlight that is spread out. But if you take that same sunlight and concentrate it through a magnifying glass, it becomes powerful enough to start a fire. This is what happens when you train your focus. Instead of living in 1,000 little distractions, you choose one important thing and give it your full attention. For example, if you are reading a book, don't also check your phone every 5 minutes. If you are spending time with a friend, don't let your mind wander to work emails or tomorrow's problems. By being fully present, you train your mind to go deeper, to become stronger. A simple practice for this is what many people call single tasking. Pick one task, set a timer for 20 or 30 minutes, and give it your whole attention. When distractions try to pull you away, gently bring your focus back. At first, it will feel difficult because the mind has become addicted to jumping around. But little by little, you will discover that you can enter a deeper state of concentration, where ideas flow more easily, and you feel a sense of calm strength. Think of famous creators or inventors, people like Leonardo da Vinci or Thomas Edison. They achieved great things not because they did everything at once, but because they could immerse themselves completely in their work, focusing with intensity. This kind of deep attention is rare today, but it is one of the strongest skills you can develop if you want to master your mind. Now, once you have learned to focus your attention, another challenge appears: emotions. No matter how clear your mind is, life will bring moments of stress, sadness, anger, or fear. That is why the fourth rule is learning to manage emotions before they manage you. Emotions are like waves in the ocean. They rise, they grow stronger, and eventually they fall. If you try to fight the wave, you will be pulled under. But if you learn to ride it, to stay balanced, you will come out safe on the other side. Too often, people let emotions decide their actions. In anger, they say words they later regret. In fear, they avoid opportunities that could have changed their lives. In sadness, they stop moving forward. But when you learn to pause and breathe in the middle of strong emotions, you give yourself space to choose your response. That small pause is the key to controlling the mind. There is a story about Nelson Mandela, who spent 27 years in prison. He had every reason to be filled with anger and bitterness. Yet, when he was finally released, he chose forgiveness over hatred. He once said, "Resentment is like drinking poison and then hoping it will kill your enemies." If he had let anger control him, his life and the future of his country might have been destroyed. But by mastering his emotions, he became a symbol of strength and peace. In your own life, the emotions may not be as extreme, but the principle is the same. Imagine you are at work and a colleague criticizes you unfairly. Your first reaction might be to feel angry and defend yourself sharply. But if you can pause, take a breath, and let the first wave of anger pass, you might choose a calmer, wiser response. This does not mean you ignore your feelings. It means you control how you express them. A helpful technique is to label your emotions as they come. If you feel stress, quietly say to yourself, "This is stress." If you feel fear, say, "This is fear." By naming the emotion, you create a little distance between you and the feeling. It is no longer the whole truth. It is simply an experience passing through your mind. And once you see it clearly, you can decide what to do next. Another practice is using the breath. When emotions feel overwhelming, bring your attention to slow, deep breathing. It signals to your body and your mind that you are safe, that you do not need to react with panic. Many people find that even 3 slow breaths can change the way they respond in a difficult moment. Together, rules 3 and 4, focusing your attention and managing your emotions, make your mind much stronger. Focus protects you from distraction, helping you give your best to what matters. Emotional control protects you from being carried away by sudden feelings, helping you act with wisdom instead of impulse. These 2 skills are like the left and right hands of mental strength. One holds you steady on your path, and the other keeps you calm when storms appear. As you begin to practice them, remember that no one is perfect. You will still be distracted at times, and emotions will still surprise you. But every time you catch yourself and bring your mind back, you are building strength. Every small victory adds up, and slowly you begin to feel a deeper sense of control over your life. And so the journey continues. We have already seen how observing thoughts and focusing on what you can control create the foundation. Now, by learning to direct your attention and manage emotions, you add 2 more powerful stones to the path. The road is long, but step by step, rule by rule, your mind becomes less of a restless master and more of a loyal guide. As you begin to focus your attention and learn to manage your emotions, you will notice something important. The mind becomes stronger not only through big moments of control, but also through the small, daily choices you make. This leads us to the 5th rule, which is about building habits that support your mind instead of weakening it. The truth is, your mind is shaped by what you do every day, not by what you do once in a while. If you feed it with constant negativity, endless scrolling on social media, and comparison with others, your thoughts will naturally become restless and unhappy. But if you feed it with good habits, reading, exercise, healthy conversations, and moments of silence, your mind grows clear and stable. Just as the body becomes strong with regular exercise, the mind becomes disciplined with regular practice. Think of the habit of starting the day with calm and focus instead of chaos. Many people wake up and immediately check their phones, filling their heads with news, messages, and noise before even taking their first breath of the morning air. This habit can set the tone for the whole day, leaving the mind restless and anxious. But imagine instead waking up, taking a few deep breaths, maybe stretching your body, and then spending even 5 minutes in silence or gratitude. That small change can make a huge difference in how your mind behaves for the rest of the day. Habits are powerful because they don't require constant willpower once they are established. At first, you must push yourself, but later the habit begins to carry you forward. Athletes know this well. They don't always feel motivated to train, but their habit pushes them to act even when motivation is low. In the same way, if you create simple habits that care for your mind, you will build strength without having to fight every day. For example, try setting a habit of writing down 3 things you are grateful for each night. At first, it may feel small, but over time, your mind begins to look for the positive during the day, so you will have something to write at night. Slowly, your thoughts become trained to see opportunities instead of only problems. This is the quiet power of habits. They shape the way your mind naturally thinks. And once you understand the power of habits, you are ready for the 6th rule: challenge and replace limiting beliefs. Because the truth is, many people live not according to their true potential, but according to the limits they have accepted in their minds. These limits are often invisible, but they guide decisions every day. Think about a child who is told again and again, "You are not smart," or "You will never succeed." Even if those words are not true, the child may grow up carrying that belief, and it can affect every choice. Limiting beliefs are like invisible chains around the mind. They keep you small even when you could be great. But beliefs are not permanent. They can be questioned, challenged, and replaced. To do this, you must first become aware of the beliefs that control you. Ask yourself, what do I often tell myself when I face a challenge? Do I say, "I can't do this," or "I'm not good enough"? Those words reveal the beliefs living inside your mind. Once you see them clearly, you can begin to challenge them. One powerful way is to replace limiting beliefs with new, empowering ones. Instead of "I can't do this," try saying, "I am learning and I will grow through this." Instead of "I always fail," say, "Every failure is a lesson that makes me stronger." At first, these new beliefs may feel strange because your old patterns are still strong. But the more you repeat them, the more your mind begins to accept them. Just like planting seeds in the soil, it takes time, but eventually new thoughts grow. There are many stories of people who succeeded only because they refused to believe in their limits. Take Oprah Winfrey, for example. She grew up in poverty, faced many struggles, and was even told she was not fit for television. But she refused to accept that belief. Instead, she created a new belief about her own worth and ability. And that belief carried her to become one of the most influential women in the world. In your own life, you may not face the same challenges, but the principle is the same. If you carry the belief that you cannot change, then you will not even try. But if you believe that growth is possible, then every small step becomes a victory. This is why controlling your beliefs is one of the most powerful ways to control your mind. Together, these 2 rules, building healthy habits and challenging limiting beliefs, work hand in hand. Habits give your mind a strong foundation, a daily rhythm that keeps you steady. Beliefs give your mind direction, like a compass pointing to what you think is possible. If your habits are weak and your beliefs are negative, your mind will always feel out of control. But if your habits are strong and your beliefs are empowering, then your mind becomes a tool for success instead of an enemy holding you back. So as you continue on this journey, remember that small daily actions matter, and the stories you tell yourself matter even more. Take care of both, and your mind will slowly begin to transform. The road may still bring difficulties, but with strong habits and clear beliefs, you will have the strength to walk forward with confidence. By now, you can see that controlling the mind is like building a house. The first stones were learning to observe thoughts and focusing only on what you can control. Then came focus and emotional balance, followed by strong habits and empowering beliefs. Each rule supports the others, and together they form a structure that is steady and strong. But a house also needs discipline to stand through storms, and that is what brings us to the seventh rule. Practice self-discipline every day. Self-discipline is the ability to do what is right even when it is not easy. It is the skill of guiding your actions with purpose instead of being led only by feelings or moods. Without discipline, the mind becomes weak because it chooses comfort over growth. But with discipline, you build a kind of inner strength that no one can take away. Think of the simple act of waking up early. Many mornings, your body may want to stay in bed, warm and safe. But if you choose discipline and rise, you start your day with a victory. Or think of studying for an exam. It may feel easier to watch television or scroll on your phone, but when you push yourself to focus, you train your mind to follow your direction instead of its own desires. Each act of discipline is like lifting a weight at the gym. It strengthens the muscle of self-control. The story of Thomas Edison is a good example. He failed thousands of times before creating the light bulb. Many people would have given up after 10 or 20 attempts, but his discipline to continue, to keep trying again and again, gave the world one of its most important inventions. Discipline does not always feel exciting in the moment, but over time, it creates results that change lives. You can build discipline by starting small. Choose one simple promise to yourself and keep it every day. It could be drinking a glass of water in the morning, writing a short journal entry at night, or avoiding your phone for the first hour of the day. The habit itself is less important than the act of keeping your word to yourself. Each time you do, your mind learns that you are in control, not your laziness, not your fears, not your excuses. And as you practice discipline, you will discover another secret of the mind, which is the eighth rule: learn to live in the present moment. The human mind loves to wander into the past, thinking again and again about mistakes, regrets, or painful memories. It also loves to run into the future, worrying about what may or may not happen. But the truth is, the only place you ever have power is right now, in this very moment. When you live too much in the past, you carry heavy chains that stop you from moving forward. When you live too much in the future, you fill your mind with fears that may never even come true. But when you bring your attention back to the present, you discover peace and clarity. The present moment is where action happens, where joy can be felt, and where life is truly lived. Consider a musician playing a violin. If she thinks too much about the mistakes she made earlier in the song, she loses focus and makes new mistakes. If she worries about the difficult part coming later, she feels nervous and plays poorly. But if she stays fully in the present, listening to the sound, feeling the movement of her hands, then the music flows beautifully. Life works the same way. Many great teachers have spoken about the power of now. One simple practice is to notice your senses in the moment. Feel the ground under your feet. Notice the sounds around you. Take a deep breath and pay attention to how it feels. These small actions remind you that you are here, alive in this very second. And in this second, most of the worries of the past and future do not exist. Another way to live in the present is to give your full attention to whatever you are doing, no matter how simple. If you are washing dishes, instead of thinking about tomorrow's problems, just notice the warm water and the movement of your hands. If you are talking with a friend, instead of planning what to say next, truly listen to their words. These small acts of presence can turn ordinary moments into something rich and meaningful. Living in the present also connects closely with discipline, because discipline often means choosing what matters now instead of giving in to short-term comfort. And presence means you are awake to this choice, not lost in thoughts of yesterday or tomorrow. Together, discipline and presence make your mind sharp and alive. When you combine these rules, you will notice changes in yourself. You will start to feel less pulled by every desire and less trapped by every worry. You will begin to see that life is not about waiting for the future or regretting the past, but about using the moment you have right now with strength and clarity. Discipline teaches you to stay true to your path, even when it is hard. Living in the present teaches you to enjoy the journey instead of always chasing or escaping. When you bring them together, you build a mind that is both strong and free. And so, step by step, the house of mental strength rises higher. With discipline, the walls are firm. With presence, the windows are open, letting in light. Together they make the space inside not only strong, but also peaceful. This is the gift of controlling your mind. Not just power, but peace. Not just control, but freedom. With discipline and the ability to live in the present, your mind becomes stronger and more centered. But life is not always calm. There will be storms, sudden losses, unexpected problems, and times when nothing seems to go your way. How you handle those moments often decides how far you can go. This brings us to the 9th rule. Develop resilience and learn to bounce back from difficulties. Resilience is like a tree in the wind. A weak tree with shallow roots will break when the storm comes, but a strong tree with deep roots will bend, sway, and still stand tall after the storm has passed. In the same way, resilience is not about avoiding pain or difficulty. It is about facing them, learning from them, and standing up again. Many people believe that failure is the end. They fall once and say, "I am not good enough," or "This is not for me." But those who build resilience see failure differently. To them, failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of success. Every time you fall and rise again, you train your mind to be tougher, calmer, and more prepared for the next challenge. Think of Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players in history. As a teenager, he was once cut from his high school basketball team. Many young athletes might have given up after such a disappointment. But instead, Jordan used that moment to push himself harder. He trained day and night, improving his skills, and later became a legend. His resilience turned failure into fuel for greatness. You can build resilience in your own life by changing the way you speak to yourself after setbacks. Instead of saying, "I failed," try saying, "This is a lesson." Instead of thinking, "I cannot do this," remind yourself, "I am still learning." Every difficulty is a chance to grow roots deeper into the ground, so the next storm does not break you. Resilience also means taking care of your mind and body during hard times. When life feels heavy, simple acts like resting well, moving your body, or talking with a trusted friend can give you strength to keep going. Remember that resilience does not mean you never feel pain. It means you do not let pain have the final word. And as you learn to rise from challenges, you also need to think about who walks beside you in life. That is the 10th rule. Surround yourself with positive influences. The people, ideas, and environments you spend time with shape your mind more than you may realize. Imagine you are trying to climb a mountain. If your companions are always saying, "You will never make it, the path is too hard," your mind will start to believe them. But if your companions say, "Keep going, we are with you, you can do this," suddenly the climb feels lighter. This is the power of influence. It can either drag you down or lift you up. Look at your own circle. Who do you spend most of your time with? Do they fill your mind with encouragement, hope, and growth? Or do they fill it with complaints, gossip, and doubt? If the people around you constantly pull you into negativity, it becomes harder to control your own mind. But if you choose to be around those who inspire you, who challenge you to grow, then your mind becomes stronger almost naturally. Positive influence does not only come from people you know personally. Books, podcasts, videos, and mentors from history can also become your companions. For example, reading about people like Helen Keller, who overcame blindness and deafness to inspire the world, can remind you of the strength inside the human spirit. Listening to motivational speeches or surrounding yourself with stories of courage can shift your perspective when your own mind feels weak. At the same time, remember that influence flows both ways. Just as others can affect your mind, you also affect theirs. By choosing to be a positive influence, encouraging, kind, and supportive, you help create an environment where both you and others can grow. In this way, you strengthen not only your own mind, but also the minds of those around you. Together, resilience and positive influence form a powerful shield for the mind. Resilience ensures that when life pushes you down, you have the strength to rise again. Positive influence ensures that you are not walking the journey alone, but with voices and energies that lift you higher. Think again of the strong tree in the storm. Resilience is the deep roots that keep it standing, and positive influence is the sunlight and good soil that help it grow tall. Without both, the tree would struggle. But with them, it becomes unshakable. As you practice these two rules, you will notice a shift inside. Problems will not disappear, but they will no longer break you so easily. Negative voices will not control you, because you will have chosen to walk with better voices by your side. And slowly, your mind will become not only strong for yourself, but also a light for others. And so the path continues. With resilience, you learn that no fall is final. With positive influence, you learn that no climb is done alone. These lessons prepare you for the final steps on the journey, where the mind becomes not just controlled, but truly free. As we walk through this journey of mental strength, we come to the final two steps. They are like the last pieces of a puzzle, bringing the picture into focus. By now, you have learned to observe thoughts, focus on what you can control, direct your attention, manage emotions, build strong habits, challenge limiting beliefs, practice discipline, live in the present, grow resilience, and surround yourself with positive influence. Each of these rules has built a foundation of strength. Now, the 11th rule teaches you how to use that strength wisely. Practice gratitude and positive thinking. Gratitude is more than saying thank you. It is a way of training your mind to see what is good, even when life feels heavy. Many people focus only on what is missing, what went wrong, or what others have that they don't. This constant focus on lack makes the mind restless and unhappy. But when you choose to notice the good, whether it is as simple as a meal on your table, a smile from a friend, or the chance to learn something new, you shift your mind from weakness to strength. Gratitude does not mean ignoring difficulties. It means refusing to let difficulties blind you to the blessings you still have. Imagine someone walking through a dark forest at night with only a small lantern. The darkness is still there, but the light helps them move forward. Gratitude is that lantern for the mind. It does not remove all problems, but it gives you the light to walk through them without fear. Positive thinking is closely connected to gratitude. It is not about pretending everything is perfect, but about choosing to focus on solutions instead of problems, on possibilities instead of limits. Consider the story of Nick Vujicic, born without arms and legs. Many would see only limitation, yet he chose to see possibility. He built a life of inspiration, speaking to millions and proving that the mind, when guided by gratitude and positivity, can overcome almost any obstacle. You can practice gratitude each day by writing down 3 things you are thankful for, no matter how small. You can practice positive thinking by asking yourself, "What can I learn from this?" Or, "What is one small step forward I can take?" These practices do not just change your mood in the moment. They train your brain to see the world differently, to look for growth instead of despair. And once you begin to live with gratitude and positivity, the 12th and final rule becomes clear. Give your mind a higher purpose. Without purpose, the mind can easily become trapped in small worries and endless cycles of distraction. But when you have a bigger reason for your actions, whether it is to help your family, to create something meaningful, to serve your community, or to grow into the best version of yourself, your mind gains direction and power. Purpose is like the compass that keeps you moving forward even when the road is hard. It is what gives meaning to discipline, focus, resilience, and all the other rules we have discussed. Without purpose, mental strength can feel like an empty exercise. With purpose, every challenge becomes a step towards something greater. Think about Martin Luther King Jr. He faced fear, anger, and enormous challenges, but he kept moving forward because his mind was fixed on a higher purpose, justice and equality. His purpose gave him the strength to speak words that still inspire the world today. Or consider Mother Teresa, who gave her life to serve the poor. Her purpose made her mind unshakable, even in the face of suffering. These examples show us that the mind finds its greatest power not when it serves only itself, but when it is guided by something larger. Finding purpose does not always mean changing the whole world. Sometimes it means choosing to make a difference in small but meaningful ways. Maybe your purpose is to be the best parent you can be, or to use your talents to bring joy to others, or simply to keep growing and learning so you can inspire those around you. Whatever it is, when your mind is connected to a purpose, it gains strength that no difficulty can take away. And so, we arrive at the conclusion of this journey. 12 rules, each one a step on the path to mastering your mind. First, you learn to observe your thoughts and let go of what you cannot control. Then, you trained your attention and managed your emotions. You built supportive habits and replaced limiting beliefs with empowering ones. You practiced self-discipline and learned to live fully in the present. You grew resilience to rise after failure and chose to surround yourself with positive influence. Finally, you filled your mind with gratitude and guided it with purpose. Together, these 12 rules are not just ideas. They are tools you can use every day. They remind you that your mind does not have to control you. You can control it. They remind you that strength is built one choice at a time, one habit at a time, one thought at a time. And they remind you that no matter where you begin, the path to mental mastery is always open if you are willing to walk it. So now the question is, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you let your mind wander without direction, pulled by every distraction and emotion? Or will you take these rules and begin to practice them, slowly but surely building a mind that is calm, focused, resilient, and free? The choice is yours. Remember, greatness does not come from controlling the world outside you. It comes from mastering the world inside you. And when you control your mind, you hold the key to controlling your life.